Hello everybody, this is Naren Chejaro and I am back with a new video. Today we're gonna talk about how to trigger Jenkins job remotely. But before we start, let me give you a little introduction about what is the build trigger. In Jenkins is the master of flexibility. It supports a wide range of configurations through its plugin. There are various triggering options supported by Jenkins such as build periodically, git hook trigger, trigger build remotely. In this video, we wanna learn how to trigger Jenkins job remotely. So let's get this started. The million-dollar question: why do we need to trigger a build remotely? This is quite obvious question and many people may have this question. Building building job remotely feature provide flexibility that allow triggering a job from the script, command line, git hook when somebody has committed a change or trigger a job from another server. Like here we have a Jenkins and you create a Jenkins job, and let's say you configure that job to trigger remotely. So to trigger that remote, you can use GitHub. You maybe trigger that job from Docker container, or you can trigger the Jenkins job from your uh, application, or maybe you want to trigger a job from the command line. Let's see an example where exactly you trigger this job. For example, trigger an integration test job when a developer creates a pull request to make sure the new changes are not broken the existing functionality. Let's say you are a DevOps engineer and you need to make sure that when somebody commit a change, the job should when somebody commit a change, so it will trigger a Jenkins job that can run automation on the commit to make sure that your to make sure the new commit is not create a regression or not fail any automation job. So this is the why we can use to trigger the remote build job remotely. Now it's demo time. Let's go to the Jenkins dashboard and we will see how you can configure your job to trigger remotely. Okay, here we have a Jenkins dashboard. This Jenkins dashboard, there's no job exists in Jenkins dashboard. I only create one user here and a default setting. So let's create one job. Now let's give a name like trigger remote job. Okay, we only have freestyle job. Select it and press OK. Now a job is created successfully. Now here it will be have many configuration. You can say general configuration, source code management. Source code management is nothing but like from where you want to get your source code, and build trigger. This is the things we talk about. So let's go to the build trigger. Now, as I said, Jenkins support many build triggers. For example, the first one is trigger build remotely and build after other project are built. This is something like if you have a sub build or master or child build, you can use this one if you need it. build periodically. Build periodically is a option that allow you to trigger your build automatically in after scheduled time, or maybe periodically, you can say, as the name suggests. For example, let's say if I say I want to run this specific job on each 30 minutes, so rest of the things I will put a star. So okay, so you can see, by the way, this support a cone format. So you can see like we have first star for minute, and then we have second star for hour, dom, month, though. So that's why I put it as star star. So I want to consider that my job should be run on every 30 minutes. So it will also give the time here. You can see the time at 12:30. Okay. Now if you want to run it 2 minute 2 hour, you can just set it to 2 hours, so it will be run every 2 hours. Anyway, we are not gonna discuss about other bills, but just give you the introduction. So this is the port SCM. Okay, again, you have something to the configuration. You can read the help talk about how to use this option. In this video, we're gonna talk about this option, trigger bill remotely. So you can, sorry, you can see here now when you check this trigger bill remotely, you can get text box where you have to. It asks the share the authentication token. What is this authentication token? So authentication token is nothing but a token that you create to authorize that, okay, if a specific user use that token, they can use that token to trigger the bit. We will see in a minute how to create the token authentication token in Jenkins. Now after that is telling use the following URL trigger to remotely or build remotely. So that means after you enter the authentication token here, you you should replace this parameter with your original Jenkins URL, that is this one, and then it's saying run this URL job trigger remote build question, use the query string token equal to token. So initially, let's generate the token first, and then we will come back here again. Now to generate the token, make sure you create one user in your Jenkins dashboard and click on the little drop down button here, and it will show you some few options, and we need to go to configure option, and here if you can see your full name, description is empty, API token. Okay, so right now we do not have any API token, so let's create my token. Okay, now generate. Now this will generate a new token, API token for us. So don't forget to copy, because after some time it will be disappear, or when you navigate to the other page it will be disappear automatically. So it's always be copy, but never mind, if you forget to copy you can still delete and regenerate it, but perfectly fine. So let's copy. I need to open notepad here to put the notepad, and here is my user, something like that. So we need this name for our job. We don't need this API token in our job, but this API token may need when you are trigger this job from a command line, or from other, like as I mentioned, from Git or from container or from your application. You may need this token API. Now let's go back to here on our configuration. Here you can just simply add. Now that's it. Now let's validate the token is working or not working. Now before we validate, we need, let's add one something that it execute. For example, we will execute a shell command lsl. Now you can save. Let me copy this URL. Okay. Now I'm copying this URL because this job do not have any parameter. But if your job has a parameter, you can use build with parameter option. Okay, perfect. Now save it. Let's open, and here you can change the token name. That is my token. My token. Okay. And here we have a URL. Now let's put this URL here. Now let's trigger. Okay, you are seeing blank page. That means your job is triggered. Yeah, technically you should get a response of your call, but this is the defect in the plugin. Let's check the job is triggered or not. So if you see in the build history right now, so you can see one job is exist. Let's check the output. Okay, so here we have ls command and we have nothing. So total 0, the command is running successfully and we are running this one. So this is perfectly fine, but this is not an option that we are not very often running to trigger the build from the browser. That's so let's trigger the job from command line. So let's say we have clear and we have this job. You can just simply type call run and use the URL and hit the enter. Okay, so what is saying okay, you are trying to running API, but this you are trying to running executing a URL, but this URL require authentication. So in the call you have the authentication, something like call and U for username, that is our admin, or we can just copy it from notepad. So we have to copy our token user and the same URL again. Okay, so let's enter. Now it's saying okay, done. There is no error, that means the command execute successfully. Let's check. Go to the so sorry, go to the job name and see we have another job executed from the command line. Okay, that's all for this video, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching, and if you did not subscribe my channel, please subscribe my channel and hit the like button.